Hello, Rama Pupodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling relaxed, having a peaceful life, and happy always. Today, let's continue. Guru and Chela. Gokarn is a place of pilgrimage because of its noted shrine of Mahadev. It is on the sea coast, the temple being about a furlong from the seashore. The structure of the temple is extensive and of ancient model. The most important annual festival of the temple is Shivaratri. Ramdas had arrived there about a fortnight prior to this day of celebration. Pilgrims from various parts of the country were now pouring in for this great occasion. Ramcharandas and Ramdas reached here at midday. They were invited for dinner at the house of a prominent merchant of the place, where they were treated with great kindness and love. Then they went to the temple of Mahadev and saw a crowd of pilgrims at the entrance in the outer yard. Pilgrim sadhus were scrambling for place on either side of the main door of the temple. For here it was that they received the greatest attention from the pilgrims who came with offerings. Swamiji, let us also settle down here. There is still room vacant for us, suggested Ramcharandas. Ram, replied Ramdas, what if we pitch upon a retired and secluded spot? That would seem to be the right thing. No, Swamiji, interrupted Ramcharandas. This is the best place for us, since we have double advantage of being near the Murti of Mahadev and also having the society of the sadhus. His reasons proved unassailable, and Ramdas submitted. A portion of the ground was immediately cleared of its pebbles and loose earth by him, and some spare cloths were spread on it to signify that the place has been booked and marked. Night came on. They took their seats on the converted piece of ground. Ramcharandas felt proud of their enviable position, since it lay only second in the line towards the right side of the main entrance. The first position was occupied by two sadhus, one elderly and the other young. Before dark, both the sides of the doorway up to the extremity of the wall were filled by sadhus. Of the sadhus to their left, the elder was the Guru and the younger the Chela. Ramagiri, prepare the chilam, said the Guru in a gruff and authoritative voice to his Chela. All right, Maharajji, replied the Chela meekly. The Chela released a satchel from his shoulder and extracted from it two small pouches, a chilam or earthen pipe, a coil of coir rope, and a matchbox. From one of the pouches, he took out a compressed lump of green leaves, ganja, and placing it tenderly upon his left palm, soaked it freely with water from his lota. After removing the seeds and squeezing the water out, he opened the other pouch and, inserting his fingers, took out a goodly pinch of dry yellow tobacco. Then he mixed the tobacco with the rinsed ganja on his palm. Now, pressing the mixture into a bit of a cake, he laid it on his thigh. Next, he cut out a small length of the coir rope and, making it into a ring, set fire to it. While it was burning, he filled the chilam with a mixture of ganja and tobacco. The coir ring burnt into red live cinder. He swiftly carried it with his fingers to the mouth of the chilam. Maharajji, he called out to his Guru, who was now deeply engaged in a talk with another sadhu, who had come from the other side, seeing the active preparation for a ganja smoke. The Chela offered the chilam to his Guru. With eyes red with anger, the Guru growled at his Chela, Idiot, where is my chappi? That is, the small piece of cloth used at the smoking end of the chilam. How dare you offer me the chilam without it, you fool! The Chela, like a scared animal, searched for the rag, while all the time his Guru was fuming with rage. However, he got the thing, and no sooner had he wetted it than the Guru snatched it away from him and rolled it on the nether end of the chilam. But before taking it to his lips, in a loud and shrill voice, he chanted out the usual invocation to Shankar, the Lord of Kailas. Bom Bom Mahadev, Kailasapadi, Bolo Nath, Shankar, etc. He then lifted the pipe to his mouth and took a prolonged pull at it, getting went at the same time to a sharp hissing noise. Lowering the pipe, he let out the smoke from his upturned mouth, as if it were the funnel of a railway engine belching out a cloud of smoke. The chilam was now handed to the guest, the other sadhu, who was waiting his turn with the eyes of a hawk. While he was manipulating the chilam, the Guruji, by way of digression, said, Ramgiri is a perfect ass, referring to his Chela. He is a stupid and useless fellow. He was worse, but has improved somewhat since he fell into my company. These words of the Guru seemed to have entered like iron into the soul of the Chela. They must have wreckled and boiled his interior. He flushed red, and his tightly compressed lips showed that he was trying to suppress his feelings. His turn of chilam came. He took it out of the guest sadhu, and having his own chapi or wetted bit of cloth, for the Guru would always consider it below his dignity to allow the Chela to use his chapi, commenced smoking. Again it was Guruji's turn, and it was handed to him. A few minutes passed. The ganja had started its work on the brain of the smokers. While its intoxication lulled the mind of the Guru, it raised the spirit of revolt in the Chela. His long pent-up wrath, a flame nourished by the constant insults and ill-treatment of his Guru, burst in all its fury. With a look of withering scorn and contemptuous smile at his Guru, he broke out, I have had enough of you, you beast. For 12 long years have I borne the insults you heaped on me. You were cruel and heartless. You treated me worse than a dog. All along I was a meek, submissive, and obedient. I served you sincerely to the best of my ability. I thought at first I could, by serving you, understand the ways of devotion and knowledge. I carved for a life of freedom based upon the vision of God. I have now found out that you are merely an adventurer, vile and despisable, ignorant and conceited, but too late, for the vice of ganja, smoking you taught me, has enslaved me and bound me to your hateful person. I struggled hard many a time to break away from you, but no, I was inextricably caught in the clutches of this fell vice, and you, wretch, brought about this ruin for your selfish ends. The intoxication of this soul-destroying drug weakened my will, destroyed my memory, and distorted my reasoning faculty. I began to babble incoherently like a maniac under its influence. I knew I was going down and down into a bottomless pit of perdition, dragged down by your pitiless hands. Oh God, I cried out often, save me, save me. In spite of my unchanged condition, I trusted him. I was sure he would help me out. The day has come. I give you up for good. God has at last called me away. All praise to thee, O Lord. Now his eyes were wet with tears. He was trembling like a leaf in the wind. He stood up straight, made for the outer entrance, and passing out vanished into the darkness. This scene was intently watched by all the sadhus. Ramdas turned to Ramcharandas and asked, What do you think of it, Ram? I did not bargain for this disturbance, he replied, whereas Ramdas enjoyed it all. It is a play worth witnessing. However, what do you say of a move tomorrow? "Why not? By all means," quickly rejoined Ramcharandas. Meanwhile, a quarrel was in progress between the guest sadhu, who had sneaked away when Ramgiri was growing hot in his denunciation of his guru, and another sadhu, his neighbor, who appeared to have encroached upon his room during his short absence. They created quite a racket. The night was spent in a pandemonium. Ramdas and Ramcharandas abandoned the place next morning and came out of the temple. Having finished their midday meal at another devotee's house, who was also kind and hospitable, they wended their way to the beach side. They discovered on the beach a vast enclosure and some buildings in it. On enquiry, they learned that it was a brahmachari ashram. Ramdas wished to pay a visit to the ashram, and both of them entered the main gate and, going up to an open outhouse, took their seat on a low bench inside. Shortly after this, two young men, clad in ochre-colored robes, put in an appearance and, advancing towards the visitors, saluted them. Ramdas felt very happy to see them because they looked so fresh and healthy, the light of brahmacharya beaming on their face. Ramdas expressed these feelings to them and inquired after their guru. One of them replied that their guru was away from Gokarn, collecting funds for the upkeep of the ashram. He said, "We have a Goshala which keeps us engaged in attending on the cows. We have also to work in the garden as we are growing our own vegetables." At the speaker's hint, the other brahmachari left them and returned after a few minutes with 2 aluminum cups full of buttermilk. "Kindly accept this drink. It is prepared out of the milk of our ashram cows," they pleaded. Ramdas and Ramcharandas, with great delight, drank the beverage, which tasted like nectar. Then, bidding the young men adieu, they left the ashram. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Puppodu.